Will we find a better player than Rashford in the academy? That's possible. It only depends on one small detail. I think we can find all the best players. It just depends on one small thing. Hello, my name is DWG, and this is where we're going to look at Manchester United's trajectory and how we can switch our point of view when it comes to buying players so we can minimize risk and sort of copy what the best teams in the world do.
For example, it's been widely known that the best players in Germany have to end up at Bayern Munich, with exceptions for Florian Wirtz, Kai Havertz, and Toni Kroos, to mention but a few. Especially in Toni Kroos' case, he was at Bayern, but he wasn't really appreciated that much at Bayern. Henceforth, he became one of the best midfielders in the world at Real Madrid. So you can say he was at Bayern, but he wasn't appreciated by the current manager at Bayern. But with Kai Havertz, you can say all you want about Kai Havertz right now, but in the Bundesliga, in his breakout Bayer Leverkusen, he was what Florian Wirtz is now, but he just had more of a X factor when it comes. He was a kid, a lanky kid, right? Skinny as hell, tall as anyone can be. Yet he was banging goals left, right, and center for Bayer Leverkusen, and well, he garnered interest from Chelsea, and he was sold to Chelsea. So he skipped Bayern. Florian Wirtz recently skipped Bayern when it was sort of a shoe-in for him to go. So how do we, as Manchester United, implement such a system like Bayern Munich, where we buy the best players that are performing in the Premier League? And how is it even possible? So, for starters, I said we have to change one thing, right? Which is where this group of players finish. Bayern Munich have been winning the Bundesliga for the past 13 seasons. They've only not won once. And that took sheer brilliance from Bayer Leverkusen to go unbeaten in the entire season, in the entire Bundesliga season, just so they don't lose to Bayern. And with their amazing comeback games and their structure and their three at the back that's actually working, God, I wish that could actually be us. You saw Bayer Leverkusen win the trophy, but even when seasons when Bayern are underwhelming, they still win it. The season before they lost, before the season before they didn't win it, Dortmund were pushing them all the way until the final day, but they fell and Bayern won. So of course, when you're a highly performing player, for example, let's put in this instance Jude Bellingham. Let's say he doesn't get quoted by Real Madrid. He's not followed by Real Madrid. He just had one of the best seasons as a midfielder for Borussia Dortmund, the second biggest team in Germany. And you fall short for your second time in the row, for your second season in a row at Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League and in the German league, in the Bundesliga. Sorry, I called it the German league. And then you get interest from Bayern Munich. What are you gonna think? The team that just beat us out of sheer brilliance is looking for me. Of course, I'm going to go to Bayern Munich, right? But let's put it in a way of Manchester United right now. The best players, bar the players that were playing in the top five or top six teams, have been Mateus Cunha, Brian Bemo, who we're not going to count in this thing. We've got Liam Delap, who was also very good. Lucas Paqueta had an season, but he was still world class. Jared Bowen has been world class for the past two seasons for West Ham. He's been instrumental in their goals and their assists and their chances created. We also had Mohamed Kudus, who also had a slight fall off from his first season at West Ham, but still a very brilliant player. You have Newcastle's Sandro Tonali, who you could say he's already at a big club, but when it comes to stature, Newcastle are nowhere near big club status. It's just money wise that makes them big. I don't know why people think Newcastle are a big club. That's my opinion right now. That's my I guess hated opinion. Newcastle are not a big club right now. It's like giving Brentford hella money. You're not gonna now start calling Newcastle one of the big six, right? No. So that's besides the point, right? But you had Bruno Guimaraes there, that Sandro Tonali, Alexander Isak, who is being courted by Liverpool at this very point in time, but it looks like it's sort of fallen through. But you get right. So all these players, they finish in their respective positions, right? Especially West Ham. We finished above West Ham. Sure, we were 15th and they were 17th, but that's besides the point. I mean, they were 16th. But would you, as Jared Bowen, for example, right, choose Manchester United in this point in time? They have Manchester haven't actually won the league in close to actually more than 10 years right now. It's close to 13 years. Almost the opposite with Bayern Munich, as they've been winning for the past 13 seasons. But we haven't. We've won domestic cups. We've been in Europa finals. We've won a Europa League in that period of not winning the Champions League. We've compete. I mean, in that period of not winning the Premier League, we've been semi-competitive in the Champions League, but not really. I guess. our ceiling is the quarterfinals, but now these days we can't even get out the groups. But you see all that, right? Would you put your future in Manchester United? You're like 24, 25. Would you want to go to Manchester United because you know you're going to win stuff? No, right? So, as much as we and fans alike, would want to switch that kind of system, because I think buying abroad, as much as they are gems when you buy abroad, I mean, Chelsea bought Eden Hazard from Leo, and look at what he did for them. Arsenal bought Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund. You have City who bought Mamouche, who's actually showing to be a very good talent. You've got Ryan Cherky, who his first few games have been a little bit shaky, but I have faith in him that he's going to be world class. You had De Bruyne, who was mildly expensive for someone who failed in the Premier League with Chelsea, and look at what he's now a City legend. You had Kun who came from Atletico Madrid. You have Thibaut Courtois, who came from Atletico Madrid, but then he was sold to Real Madrid. You get it, right? But there have been players who've been bought by other big sides and even the smaller sides. West Ham bought Mohamed Kudus from Ajax, and look at this, right? Look at his performance. Lucas Paqueta was bought from Leon, and look at his performance, right? So you get there's that sort of thing of like, oh, it's not really like foreign players are shit in the Premier League. They are good foreign players who've never played in the Premier League who come to the Premier League and play world class. Then you've got duds like Nicholas Jackson, who's had a topsy turvy start to his Chelsea career in his first 2 years. You've got Darwin Nunez, who hasn't kicked on whatsoever from his 36 goal season, in Benfica, and Manchester United have it really bad because almost all our foreign players have either underperformed or have been duds. Jadon Sancho came off a season of having 20 goals and 20 assists in the Bundesliga. How do you go from double digit goals and assists to whatever the hell he was at Manchester United? You also have Anthony, who was a young talent, a young prospect talent who was very good on the wing, very good with skills. His goal threat has always been People want to say he was really good at scoring goals, but I don't think he was. I'm going to put some stat sheets of his Wikipedia stat sheet here, but he comes to Manchester United for a lot of money, and well, he is now what he is now. You have the biggest culprit when it comes to failing in the Premier League for Manchester United being Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund was not is nowhere near a 80 or 90 million euro purchase, right? Everyone knew that even when he was at Atalanta. He only scored 10 goals. Guys, he's a striker who scored 10 goals. He's a young striker that scored 10 goals, you could say that, but he's a striker that scored 10 goals regardless. So I really think that when it comes to buying abroad, as much as it works, like I've listed the good players who've worked, it especially for Manchester United, it's butters whenever they come to the Premier League. It is absolutely cow's vomit. And you sort of now see a shift in my opinion, that we should buy from the Premier League. But like I said earlier, you're a Jared Bowen, you're a Mohamed Kudus, you're a even Cole Palmer, right? I don't know if I can put him in this because he was quite frankly a sporadic player at Manchester United. I mean, at Manchester City, and he's come to do wonders at Chelsea, right? But like not counting the big six performance, but the lower league, the mid-table performance. Would you put your future in Manchester United, giving you trophies and giving you a, not even that, giving you a platform to perform? Because look at Palmer, for example. Look what the platform Chelsea gave him. They gave him the keys to Stamford Bridge. Run riot, do what you want. Don't really follow the system. Just carry us. And he did. He was so good for them in pressure moments, in magical brilliance in touch. He's such a good player that I really think people really think that he should have stayed at City to sort of wait for De Bruyne to leave. But I think that would have stunted his growth because players really need a chance to start at the beginning and sort of work their way up to the first team and to be world class, right? You don't need a you're getting some games, then you don't get games, then again you start. You see, there's always that drop off, and you don't develop well. Just like how you need a preseason as a footballer for you to actually have a very good season afterwards, and if you don't, you're always going to play catch up in the first months of the season. Now, would you, as that type of player, you wouldn't put your wits in Manchester United unless something happens. So we need this group of players to not finish in the bottom half, to not be in a relegation fight, and to realistically, we've got no European season, to lock in, right? Just absolutely lock in for the current season. Let's push further in the cups. Come on, we've won FA Cups in bad seasons. We've won Carabao Cups in bad seasons. Come on, let's just keep on that momentum. Let's have if we can win an FA Cup or a domestic double with the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Come on, that's momentum for me. That's showing progress. Let's finish in the top four. That's hope. But I'm giving them top eight, right? At least be in the top half. My standards for this club have significantly dropped. But this group of players need to show that they are they are Manchester United, one of the best players, one of the best teams in history. They need to show that for for these teams, I mean for these players to give them their faith, that give them the keys to their career and say, take me to this place. Take me. I will give you my time. I will give you my I will give it to you. Just give me trophies. Give me a platform to be great, right? But then there's the elephants in the room, right? Mateus Cunha and Brian Mbemo, very good players for their respective sides in Wolves and Brentford. Absolutely outperformed their seasons by far, and yet they've joined Manchester United. Now, the skeptic in me is sort of seeing this to them as they're seeing it as a not that they're going to be good at Manchester United. They're gonna earn a lot of money at Manchester United. I'm sorry, I'm just really of the belief that you can't have a 20 goal season and decide to go join a team that's 15th. Like, let's not even put Manchester United as the Manchester United. Let's put anyone else. Tottenham. How many players have signed for Tottenham? They have won a Europa League and they finished 17th. How many good players have gone to Tottenham? It's only prospects, and they've been linked with Morgan Gibbs White, who again is one of those players who've been outperforming Nottingham Forest for a long time, and he's been linked. They activated his release clause, but Nottingham Forest are sort of being the bad eggs in, like, they don't want to let their player go because of illegal contact. But sure, right? You can say that, and they've also been linked with Kudus. I think he's already signed. I think he signed. Kudus has signed, right? So one of the players I said, so Kudus has signed for Tottenham. Who else? Who else has had a? And you can't compare Kudus' last season to Brian and Bemo's last season. You see the difference, right? You, as Manchester United, even though you're Manchester United, you finished 15th, brother. You don't you don't really get to get such good players. But hey, that's what I'm saying. It's the skeptic in me. Let's say, in fact, Tottenham went for Brian Mbemo as well because of Thomas Frank. He's now the manager, and Mbemo said no. He wants Manchester United. Two things can come out of that, and two things can be true. He wants Manchester United because he's a fan, and it's the great Manchester United. At the same time, it's the only club that's going to offer him a lot of money at his age and give him a ridiculous long contract with a lot of money. And that's really what has happened. I think he's signing a 5-year deal. He's 25. He's going to be done by 30, right? It's going to be done by 30 with an option of another year. So let's say 6 years or a 5-year plus one. And knowing Manchester United, I know they haven't published his salary, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more than what he was getting at Brentford. A hell of a lot more. It's going to touch 150, 165,000 pounds. I know that for a fact. Manchester United are the best paying institution of all time. You can't tell me otherwise. Apart from like Manchester City, who are paying, I guess you can remove Grealish, but the players that are the highest paid players at Manchester City earned that salary. Haaland gets paid what, close to 500,000 or 400,000, something like that. Come on, it's Erling Haaland. He broke records in his first season. De Bruyne has been on, I think, 400 or 365, somewhere there, £1,000. And look at De Bruyne. He's been there so much, right? But then look at our best paid players. I want you to mention one who's actually good and warranted that salary, right? You had Marcus Rashford. Apart from his 30 goal season, and he is, I think that was 15 or 20 goal season with Anthony Martial. Tell me, when has Rashford been on par wages wise with De Bruyne? There is no consistency with Rashford. That's one. Two, Sancho. What the fuck has Sancho done since he's been at Manchester United? Literally, what has my guy done? And yet he gets paid close to 335, 345. That's why he doesn't want to reduce his salary. That's a lot of money. And he's been getting that for like 4 years now. My guy, who's next? I guess Bruno Fernandes could be the only one, but at the same time, he still gets paid a lot. So Manchester United are very good at paying players, and I think when you're a player that's had a magical season, you're not sure if you're going to replicate it. I'm very skeptical in that Mbemo was even going to replicate it if he remained at Brentford. Look, he just earned himself a paycheck for life. And look at that. Look at Anthony, man. What did he do for him to get paid that much at Manchester United? So the skeptic in me sees these two guys as seeing Manchester United more of a, they're gonna pay me way better than anyone else, so I'm just gonna go there. But I mean, the other side of me sees that they're going to challenge themselves into bringing Manchester United to be the best, taking them back to being the best. Maybe, but I love this club and I know them so well. Whenever we sign someone, especially when it's for that much, they always underperform. Apart from Bruno Fernandes, I don't think anyone has earned their transfer fee for the past 5 years or 4 years. Sancho's was not earned. I mean, Sancho's was really, really bad. Anthony was bad. Giving Rashford an improved contract with that as well was a really bad decision. I don't know. I'm just being skeptical so I don't get disappointed in the future. Because if I'm hopeful, I'm cooked. Anyway, this is my return to making football content. It's been so long. I've tried so many other content forms because I have a problem, right? I think I have ADHD, or I just don't have patience. I will make a new channel about a new interest of mine and I will post there, but I'm not consistent and I'll just stop. Just like this channel. The last time I posted was the Champions League final, before this Champions League final. I made a Premier League predictions video and I think I failed. I think that was like one of my last videos. I haven't been here for over a year. This channel is dead. I hope this maybe can be a comeback. This very day, I'm going to make a Premier League prediction video, and then I'll post it some other time. Anyways, this has been your boy TWG. And as always, I hope I will see you next time. And I hope you actually see me this time. Jesus Christ, man.